A Swedish charity group has created Emojis. It's basically an app that kids can download that helps kids communicate about abuse that they've suffered or they're currently going through. The name of the organization is BRIS, and we have a video kind of explaining to you exactly what the emojis look like and what they would be able to communicate. Take a look.
This girl looks like she's been beaten up.
Or that I've been experiencing violence.
Mom's drinking.
That they feel crap.
I think she has really dark thoughts.
Now, look, we look at something like that as adults and we might think that it's weird and uncomfortable, but consider the fact that about 72% of people between the ages of 18 and 25 feel more comfortable communicating via emojis than actual words. And so for kids, for really young kids who have been abused, it might be a lot easier for them to show an image as opposed to get into the details of what they're going through. And to help kids that are being abused, it makes sense to make that form of communication as easy as possible. So when you look at that, it might seem like it's a ridiculous idea, but I think that it could actually be really positive. And there have been some psychologists who have looked at this and they agree that it's a pretty good idea. Christian, what do you think? Make your point.
Yeah, when I first saw this, especially with that ominous music in the background, I was like, well, that's kind of creepy. But like you said, you read the statistics there, and if this helps kids communicate a little better, and it's, even for me, like, emojis are great. Like, sometimes we'll communicate and I'll send you an emoji. Like, an emoji will say more than like any sentence you could put together. You see. So yeah, if this helps kids, especially kids that are getting abused like that, communicate a little better, be a little bit more open, because I'm sure it's not easy for a kid to say, yeah, my mom's beating me, or I'm being sexually abused by my stepdad or something like that. That's not easy, something easy to come out about. So if this makes it easier for them to come out to somebody about it, yeah, it's great. I think it's a great idea.
Andy?
I think BRIS is a tough name for something that is about hurting children. Secondly,
yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I will also say that I don't know how, but I woke up one day and all of a sudden the whole world communicates in little tiny cartoons. And nothing makes you feel old, like trying to sit there and like read this like pattern of information in cartoon form. I mean,
it's
just
like the modern day hieroglyphics.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's the modern day hieroglyphics. Fantastic. I do think that it's weird. It's just weird to us, maybe because we don't really understand that world and we don't really come from that world of cartoons and not words. But you know, I guess sure, if it helps somebody, that's fine. But I can't help feel that like it sort of trivializes almost in a way this sort of like horror that like here's a fun cartoon of slit wrists, and I just think that that's like a little bit icky.
Yeah, well, that was the exact same reaction that I had when I first saw it. I was like, this trivializes abuse, but you got to kind of take yourself out of it and think about how kids would communicate what they're going through. And if it's easier for them to communicate through emojis, then I'm all for it, you know? So I'm willing to keep an open mind and see where this goes. If it's positive, then I'm glad that it's happening. Now, how do you communicate when you're upset about something? Andy?
Emojis. Generally, like temper tantrums.
Do you have temper tantrums? No?
He's like 16.
I'm
so
16.
Yeah,
I have temper tantrums.
Emojis
when I'm upset, it's very pointed and shitty, sarcastic comments that seem like jokes. So,
so you're passive aggressive.
Really love being on this show and talking about this kind of stuff.
Christian?
Truth. I mean, you've witnessed it. I can be a bit bratty sometimes, especially when I feel I'm in the right and the other person's wrong.
How often does that happen? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, 98% of the time I'm right.
You're right.
There's 2% where I'm wrong.
No,
and I can admit it. I can admit it. Yeah, I can admit it. I can admit it. You know?
Highly evolved.
No.
But no, I can be a bit stubborn at times, and I don't know. It's just there's different ways. But I have been a bit better over the last couple of years about communicating, even if it's something that's going to hurt the other person. Like just try to put it all out there on the table and be honest, and that way there's no mixed signals.
Yeah.
But I can be a little stubborn sometimes.
I'd like to think of myself as a versatile kind of person. So I will, when I'm upset, I go through a lot of different forms of showing that I'm upset. I can be passive aggressive, which is not my favorite quality. I can sometimes like lose my mind and get really angry and yell, which doesn't happen that often, but when it happens, it happens. And finally, I think that the way that I usually communicate when I'm upset is not effective because sometimes I just shut down and I don't want to talk about it. And so I've run into that issue a lot, especially when I'm around people who do want to communicate about it. So, like when you want to communicate about drama and I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. Nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong. You get real mad.
Well, yeah, I kind of used to be like that too. Like I was like, no, I don't want any drama in my relationships, in my life, drama. But it's like it's just fucking life, man. Sometimes there's gonna be shit you go through that you just have to deal with.
Drama is fun.
Yeah, it is.
It does spice things up a little.
Yeah,
You know, it makes there's a passion.
Yeah, exactly.
that you
Afterwards,
get
you
from
make
that.
up and you
Listen,
make out.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably want to stop the
Yeah,
conversation
you know.
there.
Mom's watching. All right, guys, but tell us what you do to communicate when you're upset. Are you passive aggressive? Are you angry? Do you throw temper tantrums? Do you relate more with me, Christian, Andy? I really want to know. So comment in the section below and I will read them and see you soon.